Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Friday, September, what are we, 15th? I don't know why I had to look that up. 2023. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup. I hope you are all well. I hope when you get here, assuming you're watching live, that you'll drop your name in the chat so I can see who's here. I see Frank's here. Good morning, Frank. And of course, I appreciate all of you watching or listening, whether it's live or later. Just thanks. Thank you for being here. I enjoy starting my day with you, my Fridays with you. The beginning of my, well, it's not my weekend, but I don't have any meetings or appointments. I enjoy my clients. I enjoy that work. But to have Friday to focus on tasks and, chores and errands and the things that I need to do, yes, for my life, but also for my businesses. Friday is the day I get stuff done. It's quite often through the week that, Monday through Thursday, I end up putting things on my to-do list, and then Friday I get to take some of them off. Who else is here? Good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Dennis. Well, if you were sitting in my seat, not right now, but figuratively, you would know that a huge amount of what's going on is around Marshall Summit. Andrew and I had a 2-hour meeting yesterday where we knocked through so many things. We're talking about sponsors. We're taking the schedule even further. We are rolling out. There's an entirely new Whistlekick initiative that will land publicly soon. And that's going to have a positive impact and a profound impact on Marshall Summit. No, you don't. Some of you know what it is. Most of you don't. And I'm really excited about that. And it just means that this event is becoming the event. November 9th through 12th, Keene, New Hampshire. Here's what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. There are people who they're going to treat it like it's just free training day, like it's just Saturday. They're going to come on Friday and they're going to hear about all the things that happened Thursday and Friday. And they're going to be bummed they missed them. And then they're going to hopefully stick around for the banquet Saturday night. We're getting a step closer on that. I wanted to have tickets available for that by now, but I can't. And then they're going to leave Sunday morning and they're going to hear from people the things that happened on Sunday. And they're going to think, man, I screwed up. Every year people talk about going to these big grand events. Oh, I hope to go to Burning Man, or I'm bummed the Super Show is gone, or, I want to go to this conference. Find me anything in any industry remotely approaching the caliber of what we're offering for the total all-in cost that you're going to spend. You can do these 4 days, assuming you split your hotel room with somebody, for $400. You could do the whole thing. You could do all 4 days for $400 and not miss out on anything. Are there other things that you could do? Yep. But you will get an incredible 4-day experience for $400. Maybe you've got to put some gas on that list. Maybe you've got to fly in. We'll help you with the logistics. You just need to let me know. There's nothing better. There is no deal better in any industry. I will stand by it. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Mel. But enough of that. How was your week? What'd you do? Been doing some client work. Just a heads up, I do have a client spot. I had a client who had to take a step back due to circumstances beyond, let's say, our control. Theirs and mine. There's some things that happened. I'm not gonna say any more about that. But if you know a martial arts school owner who would benefit from the work that we do, and any of them would. Make an introduction, please. I'd appreciate it. Jenny says, I've been busy. Yeah, you have. Well, a week from today, I'm going to do this show, and then sometime shortly thereafter, I will be in a car driving south to Philadelphia for Free Training Day Mid-Atlantic, the inaugural offering of that event. I'm super excited. I know Jenny's super excited. And I want to recognize here for a minute, you all don't see the behind the scenes. Most of you don't. And even those of you who are around more often and see a bit more into the pile, the chaos that is sometimes Whistlekick, you don't see what Jenny's done. She has absolutely knocked it out of the park. I wish even the 4th year of Free Training Day Northeast was anywhere close to what she has put together for Mid-Atlantic. It is awesome. She's crushing it. And then Sunday, we've got a bunch of signups. We're doing a Matic level 1. Craig's coming down, and Dennis will be there, and who else in the chat might be there? I don't think anybody else in the chat's coming. But it's going to be incredible. It's going to be exhausting. I'm going to get home late Sunday and go. Argh. In fact, I might not even. I might just sleep at Craig's and go, I'm working from here today. Might need to happen. Yeah, here's Jenny. I can't believe this is happening next weekend. Better believe it. And Dennis says, it bears repeating. Woo! A bit of foreshadowing for Marshall Summit. Dennis, woo, what I believe will be the best attended session ever at any Free Training Day. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm excited. We have entered this time of the year where all these exciting things are happening, right? So Free Training Day Mid-Atlantic, we have our test run of the Matic Level 2 the weekend after. And let's see, no Whistlekick events for a couple weeks, but there is a wedding in there that I am participating in. I am not getting married, no. But someone near and dear to many of us, I'm not going to spoil their thunder and tell you, but someone that many of us know is getting married. And then the next weekend, I fly out to Seattle for Free Training Day Pacific Northwest. And then I come back, and then 3 weeks later, we have Marshall Summit. And then I take a nap. Oh, and by the way, I'm selling my house. In there. There's a sign. It's already happening. We've had showings. We'll see what happens. Because why not? Why not? Why not make the world more chaotic? Frank says, you'll have to let us know how many steps you get in for Mid-Atlantic. That would be a fun thing, because I keep that data. That's on my phone. If somebody ever wants to use that information as like a social media post, how many steps did Jeremy get? Because when we did Saturday of All-In Weekend was like 25,000. The most I've ever done is 30,000, and that was a day where I was walking around Burlington. But I'm imagining that Marshall Summit, I'm guessing I'll do 100,000 steps across the 4 days. It will not surprise me if that happens. Stacy says, where are you moving to? I don't know yet. When the house goes under contract, and Mel says, don't think it'll be on the market long. I don't think so either. It's a little bit of a unique property. It's most properties that would have the landscaping that this does would have a bigger admittedly nicer home, and it would be $500,000-$600,000, but it doesn't. So it's an oddity. I'm 10 minutes from the Capitol, and yet I've had moose in my yard. It's not a thing that typically happens around here. So fingers crossed, all of you. All right, let's do some jokes. It is Friday. It is time for jokes. Frank sent over jokes as always. Thank you to Frank for all your work on the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song, and thank you to Denise for the audio. By the way, Josh will be presenting at Free Training Day Mid-Atlantic. I haven't been able to get him to come up for Free Training Day Northeast, but he's a Pennsylvania guy, so we're gonna get to see him at Mid-Atlantic, and I'm super excited. He's a great guy. Look forward to watching all of you get to know him. Frank says, don't move to the south. They'll call you sir down there. I'm okay with that. Dennis is leading us off with jokes. I heard a photographer was killed in a freak accident when a large wheel of cheddar landed on her. To be fair, the people who were being photographed did try to warn her. Oh, Dennis. Oh, what's that? Isn't it like a race in one of the Scandinavian countries where they roll a big wheel of cheese down the hill and people run with it? I don't know. It gets weird when you don't see the sun for a little while, I guess. The jokes for Fun Day Friday. Today is Make a Hat Day. I found a hat with $17.50 in it, and I thought this other guy was going to pick it up, but he was too busy juggling. Did you know you can wear any boat as a hat? You just have to turn it upside down to make it capsized. What did the bra say to the hat? You go on ahead. I'll give these two a lift. I put a hat on my knee. Now it's my kneecap. That one came out of nowhere. I like that one. What do you call a fish wearing a three-piece suit and a top hat? Sophisticated. Did you hear about a man who got arrested for stealing hats? He had it coming. Why did Mr. New York enjoy putting hats on other men? He was Manhattan. Did you hear about the cowboy who wore a hat made of paper towels? He had a bounty on his head. What do you call a snake wearing a hat? What do you call a snake wearing a hard hat? A boa constrictor. Did you know if you put a hard hat up to your ear, you can hear the OSHA? Why couldn't the laptop take off his hat? He had caps lock on. Hey, that hat you borrowed from me, do you know where it is? Not off the top of my head. Great stuff. Thank you, Frank. Kneecap. Put out a hat on my head. Hat on my knee. Now it's my kneecap. Jenny and Dennis enjoying today's selection, as they should. So one of the big things that's been happening martial arts wise, and many of you know about this, is my martial arts school. Yes, 2 days ago. This week was the 4th week of classes. We added 3 new students, which was the first. We had 1 new student come for week 2. And so we've added 4 new students, and everybody's having a blast. Had an older gentleman join, had a younger woman join, her mother. So it's a mix. It's all over the place. And I am getting to test a lot of my theories on developing martial artists, helping them grow. And you know what? It's working. The format that I've put together here is working. And here's the big, quote, secret. Here's the big thing that I'm doing differently. If you've been to one of my seminars, what do we spend a lot of time doing? Free-form movement at a very slow speed with no power. It allows you to remain safe. People can't learn when they don't feel safe. That is a point that everyone needs to understand. You cannot learn if you do not feel safe. Talk to any high school teacher. They will confirm that for you. The kids who don't learn, the ones with poor home lives, they don't feel safe in their life. They do not learn when they are at school. So by spending a great deal of time, we're averaging probably 20 minutes, which is a little less than I'd like to, but we're averaging 20 minutes doing drills in that space. And I'm watching people who've been doing martial arts for 3 to 4 hours blocking. Well, blocking and countering, blocking and moving. Skills that I've always believed are far more instinctual than we make them and that we overteach them. And I'm watching it happen. So I'm hoping, it looks like we'll have 1 or 2 at least, but I'm hoping a number of these students will come for free training day. I'm not going to push them for the rest of Martial Summit, and I'll let them know what's going on, but some of you will likely be able to meet some of them, and you'll be able to see. And actually, those of you who have had time teaching, I hope that I can introduce you to some of them. I hope you can work with them, because I would love to see what you observe in students who have trained. By that time, it'll be September, October, 3 months. 1 day a week, 12 hours. So be a good time. All right, let's do the quotes. We got quotes. Let's do them. Close the jokes, open the quotes. Dennis says, play your cards right, and you can have your students paint your house and sand your floors. It's interesting. I see that stuff happen. And I had a conversation with one of the students because he had emailed me and was asking a question, and he opened the email with Sensei Jeremy. And I said, I want you to know, you don't have to call me Sensei when we're outside of class. And he brought it up at class on Wednesday. He said, I know I don't have to, but I want to. I want to make sure I respect you. And I said, I'm totally fine with that, and I appreciate it. I simply never want you to feel like it's demanded of you. And we had a brief conversation about the difference between requiring a title versus it being used by choice, right? I'm never, within the context of my school, yes, please call me Sensei Jeremy. That's as much for consistency and formality, and it sets a different tone for the culture of our training environment. But once we're outside of that space, I'm never going to ask for it. Never, not once. If you want to use it the first time, I'm probably going to say, you don't have to do that, right? And if you choose to continue doing it, by all means, thank you. I'm honored. And so I bring that up with Dennis's quote because there are plenty of martial artists out there, martial arts instructors who build this sort of pseudo cult-like environment, and they expect their students to treat them differently 24/7. And I'm not okay with that. Who's the best martial artist I know? Bill. Why am I okay referring to Grandmaster Bill Wallace as Bill? Because of the number of people I have seen, including myself, him say, just call me Bill. Maybe if we're out on the floor, maybe if we have him on the show, yeah, that's one thing. But to just be title all the time. If you don't call all the people around you, Mr., Miss, Mrs., Doctor, as a rule, don't use martial arts titles for all the people around you. I think it's unhealthy. All right. And now we move on to our quotes. Where are those going to bring us today? A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. Joseph Campbell. A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. And who determines that? A hero is not an objective standard. It's not a title. It's not like doctor. Somebody could be a hero in my eyes and you don't see it that way, and that's okay. Someone could do something that I find to be absolutely remarkable and you find it to be rather pedestrian. I could feel that I've gone far above and beyond on something and that I've done something heroic. And you might not agree. In fact, you could think it was a bad thing. Does that mean that we don't recognize heroes or strive for heroic acts? No. It means that it's not how people perceive the act that matters. And in fact, I would say any heroic act that receives more attention for being heroic than in the act itself is probably not heroic. You know the heroic acts. They're the ones that aren't talked about. The true heroes are people you know, and they never told you that such and such happened, but you heard about it. Like, wait a second, they did that? My definition of heroic never involves recognition. It involves doing the right thing at the right time, even when you don't have to, in a way that dramatically changes something for someone else when no one else could or would. And doing it simply because it was the right thing. If you need the recognition for it, it's not heroic. Jenny says, fun fact, I was brought up in the arts being told that I should address my seniors as Mr. So-and-so or Master So-and-so, whatever their title was, even if I see them in the supermarket. When I made the schedule for FTDMA, I used one person's title instead of their name, one of my own instructors, because that is the only way I've ever known him. It was so strange to use his first name. Yep. One of the things that when you see the draft of Northeast, and this is where, there's some deviation sometimes with the events that we do. And we want that. We want to see, what is, quote, the free market reward. Andrew and I don't have anybody's titles on the schedule. One, it takes up too much space. Two, not everybody wants titles. So what's the standardization? Name. Everybody has a first and last name. We don't have any, share, single name, moniker, Madonnas, no mononym. That's the word I'm looking for. No mononyms happening. We might be able to make me a mononym in that context, but I don't want it. People have a hard enough time spelling my last name. Let's not give them fewer opportunities to see it. Next. Where'd I go? I'm over here. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Soren Kierkegaard. I read a lot of Kierkegaard in college, but that was a long time ago. Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. Does that mean we're doomed to not understand our life? Maybe. Do we have to understand something to know it is worthwhile in order to do it, to participate in it? I would suggest no. We observe, we engage. Doesn't mean we don't try to understand. But maybe we're not understanding our life. Maybe we're understanding the things around us, the things happening to us, the opportunities before us. If you were to tell the story of your life, yes, you can try to tell it in advance, but it's a difficult story to tell. There's a lot of rewrites. But to tell it in hindsight, it's a much cleaner way to do it. It's a busy day for me. One of the other things I'm doing today, which I'm kind of excited for. I bumped into something. I found something for my computer days. And for the record, I sold my computer company in 2014 so I could work on Whistlekick. I've been running Whistlekick almost as long as I ran Vermont Computing, which is mind-blowing. Wow. So found a Vermont Computing thing that I didn't want to throw away. I already have one. There were only a few made. And to my knowledge, this is the only other one. And I said, who do I give the, oh, Bob. So one of my past employees, somebody with a great heart, I reached out and I said, I know you moved away, but what's your address? I got something I want to send you. And he said, actually, I'm in Vermont the next few days. I was like, well, let's grab coffee. I got something for you. So he'll probably cry. Maybe not, but hopefully. And our last quote for today, before I send you off into the world, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. I think we live in a time where people are not willing to admit what they are afraid of, and they instead try to use a lot of other language and a lot of other angles of reality to justify where they are, how they're feeling, and why they should not make improvement, why they shouldn't bring change to their life. I see a lot of people trying to get the rest of the world to change to accommodate their fear. I don't think that's okay. I don't think anybody has the right to do that. Most of us are afraid of something most days. Some of us are perpetually afraid. Some of us have been afraid for so long we don't know what it's like to not be afraid. But guess what? If you've been that afraid for that long and you continue to function, you've conquered that fear. Maybe you just haven't acknowledged it yet. You can let it go when you're ready. It's time. Put it down. See what it feels like to not be afraid. It's good. There are other people for whom fear is the only thing that keeps them going. Remember, we haven't talked about this in a long time, but the two motivating forces in the world, in the universe, love and fear. People will do more out of fear than they will out of love. And that fear can get addicted. There are martial artists who train out of fear. Some of them train very hard and they're very good practitioners. But they're not generally people I want to train with. I train out of love. I train out of love of the people I'm training with. I train out of love of bettering myself, love for what martial arts has done for me, what it will continue to do. And I think that is a much better way to live my life. Frank says, changing others can be stressful and difficult anyway. I would say it always is. It is infinitely easier to change yourself than others. In fact, I would say it is so much easier and so much more impactful that trying to change others should only occur after you have run out of options for changing yourself. Maybe there are times when you've run out of options for changing yourself on a particular subject, in a particular situation. And so you have to turn to changing others. I get that. Self-defense is a bit of that. Change your others before you change yourself, before you change others. Run away instead of fighting and hurting someone. It's a lot easier to choose to run away than to choose to fight. There's a lot less risk in running away. Thank you for being here. I hope you have just an awesome day. I really do. I hope that you will consider supporting in some way. I hope you'll bring good out into the world. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you do something for yourself. We actually have a few days without rain. It's not going to be super warm, but should be warm enough to get on the motorcycle Sunday, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, everyone. You take care. And if I don't see you before, I will see you next Friday. Be well. Take care. Peace.